coming from the scene. Fellas, we were just on them not too long ago talking about power rankings and all that good stuff. So today, y'all done put something together. I'm just taking the trip with y'all, man. So introduce yourself. We're gonna go Ty first, Cat 5, and then Guru, man. Start it out, Ty through. What's going on, man? How your day been going and all that stuff?
This is the first time Trav has ever been such a gentleman and nice to me. It's that Southern charm. It's Southern Trav in the house today. So he didn't let me, come into his house. He didn't gave me some sweet tea or lemonade, hopefully a strawberry lemonade. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Ty through, we're always ready to remind you guys to keep the scene on your screen. Did you watch out who you got? Because me and Category broke it down with shortstops. Even though he didn't agree with me, even though he usually does, I'll forgive him this time. But I'm here with my guys. Let's do this. Got a good show ready for you.
Cat 5, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? As usual, I'm just happy to be here and ready to talk baseball, man. It's been a good day. Let's finish it off right.
Man, if y'all haven't watched the videos that we've been putting up, especially the one that Cat 5 put up on the shortstop for the Boston Red Sox, please check that out, man. Very informative information there. Guru.
Definitely check that out because it's one of the only times you'll hear me saying good things about the Red Sox this year.
Yeah, exactly. Guru, your Mets ain't doing good, but how you doing?
Man, listen, my Mets finally won. My Mets finally won the game in a week, so I'm good. I'm all right now. I'm a little happy. I'm surprised. But nah, man, I'm good. Like Storm said, happy to be on, talk some baseball. Each day we bring you on IG and on Twitter. We bring you a quarter of the day, and we also bring you this date in baseball history. So if y'all haven't caught on to that, sign up now. We on IG and we on Twitter. We post daily. And we also get some weird, quirky facts that nobody other than freaking Storms knows, and I have no idea how he remembers it. It's just that memory that stores stuff. I don't know. He's like a weird computer that stores like the odd stuff. That's all I can say.
We gonna keep it to you. Go ahead, Storm.
Miggy watch.
Yes.
Don't forget the Miggy watch. We are watching closely every at bat from Miguel Cabrera. Live tweeting most of them when we can get to it, but and I will be coming with recaps of his day every day starting tomorrow. So on Twitter.
Guru, first topic, man. What we gonna talk about today, man? It's on you.
Man, the first thing I want to talk about is this ace pitcher, man. What happened yesterday, Chris Bassitt. If you guys haven't seen it, the video isn't for the people that's squeamish, people that don't like blood. Unfortunately, he threw looked like an 89 mile per hour changeup, a curveball. Gordon hit it and it just went right off of his cheekbone, his right cheekbone. Which thank God he moved out of the way at the last second because it would have hit him right in the eye or right in the nose. I'm amazed how pitchers or baseball players move so quickly to avoid a ball that's gonna, possibly hurt him more. And he got lucky with the injuries that he got away or that happened to him. Not lucky obviously because it hit him in the face, but it could have been a lot worse than what it is. Right. Thank God he's okay. It looked horrible at first. And like me, Category said before we got on live, it sounded like the ball hit the bat twice. Once when the batter hit it and then when the ball hit off of his face. I just pray to God that he has no vision loss and everything comes out okay because as we've seen before in previous, batters as well getting hit in the face, but pitchers also. This could be career ending and, probably even worse, just alter your life completely. But thank God he's okay at the moment.
Yeah. And so everybody is aware. Word is he was released from the hospital last night. He had stitches for 2 facial lacerations, one in his face, one in his jaw, fractures in his jaw and cheekbone. But it looks like his vision is going to be okay. So, and it's about the only positive to take out of this. It's a scary thing. It's unfortunately, fortunately, it's something that doesn't happen very often in our game, but unfortunately, every great once in a while, it's unavoidable that something like this is going to happen. And just like Jorge said, glad he was able to turn his face a little bit before he got hit, or it could have been a lot worse.
Exactly. And shout out to both clubs and fans who were present to witness that. They actually, you could tell the whole mood of the game shifted. Everybody was concerned. And when these injuries happen like that, you think of all sports, like injuries do happen. It can happen to anybody. And there have been some gruesome ones that have happened live and played out live. Some have even ended careers. You just want to make sure that, he takes his time, he recovers, listens to his trainers and the medical staff, follows doctor's orders. The last concern he should have is getting back on the mound. The first concern should just be his health. And it's good to see that all the players, wish him the best, all the fans wish him the best. And we can move on, and prayers out, to his family for a speedy recovery. That's from, the Type Through and everybody here at the Dish.
Yeah, and then just the one other thing too is this is, and I waited to say this on purpose because this is obviously secondary to his personal health, but thankfully, again, with it looking like his vision is going to be okay, we're probably going to get to see him back on the mound again. So not only, is it good that it's not a life-altering injury, but it's also not something that looks like it's going to take his dream away from him.
Right. That is exactly right. I just hope the way he recovers and go back, it don't bother him. He's back to where he was, because he was like number 1 statistically in quite a few categories.
Yeah.
As far as him, but man, that's just unfortunate that happened. But I hope he comes back and be better than ever, and just face that fear, because that pitcher now, man, I mean, taking a shot like that, man, can change your life. So hopefully he recovers and go through, man. So prayers to his family, prayers to his team. Hope for a speedy recovery and come back, man, from that. So yeah, that's one of the ones, man. It's hard to talk about it, but just like that, man.
And mentally, like you said, that can stay with you. I mean, when you get back on the mound, like it's going to be work, because the back of your mind, I mean, every pitcher, I'm pretty sure, knows the risk when, they step on the mound. But when it happens to you, it's a whole different ball game. I mean,
right.
That fear, that's legitimate fear, that trauma, that's real. So mentally, Chris, take care of yourself on that one. Talk it out if you have to, and take care of the mental aspect of an injury like that, because that sticks with you.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, and from an organizational standpoint, once you get back to the point where he's out there pitching for you, you don't want a guy who's going to be out there and be a little flinchy when the ball comes off the bat. Because if the guy, if a guy takes a full swing and it's a little dribbler to the mound, you want the pitcher to be on that, especially if there's a guy on third coming home. Mm-hmm. You don't want a run to score, because again, that's one of those things that is, far down the list of things to worry about right now. But, like you were saying, one of the things that can happen when something like that carries over.
It's all about the mental, man. Get his mental right, everything else will be in play.
Yeah, that's, just for you guys that are like the occasional fan, or, just to think that the pitcher is the one that's closest to the baseball, that's not hoping to stop the ball, meaning not the catcher. The catcher knows the ball is coming to him 100 miles an hour, 95 miles an hour. you know, to have that reaction time and to take a ball off of your body part, you know, once you throw it 89, 90, and then off the bat, 110, 100 miles an hour.
116. They said
Yeah,
they came off 116 miles an hour. Like
that's
ugh.
scary, man.
Yeah, and the catcher's also wearing pads and a mask.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
He is protected to get in front of the ball like that. That pitcher is. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's scary, man. That's nasty. Like, I'm just happy he's all right, man. That could have been a lot worse, like we were saying in the beginning. I just think that he's okay.
Yeah,
prayers are with him for sure.
yes, sir.
But you know, we want to also touch on, like we said in the beginning of the show, Miggy. He's still looking for that home run. He went 1 for 4 today. Just a single, is that right? Category? Is that all he did today?
You're making me look again. I thought he was 0 for 2 with 2 walks, but I might have been looking at yesterday's box score because I know that's what it was yesterday.
Oh yeah, he went. Well, it looks like he went 1 for 4, but I don't know exactly what the hit was, whether it was a single or what. But yeah, he went 1 for 4. I just popped it up right as soon as you said that. So we're
in a very interesting matchup too, and a very dynamic matchup against Ohtani.
Yes. So we're on the Mickey watch tomorrow. They actually play Toronto. So we're gonna look to see if he hits a home run against Toronto. Let's see what what happens. But we're gonna get to what were we gonna say, Storm? So you were gonna say something.
Oh, I was just gonna say, for anyone that does follow us on Twitter, I had to slack off on the Miggy Watch duties to prep for this show, so I only saw the first 2 at bats. So
we got you covered. He went 1 for 2 on the next 2 at bats. How about that?
We are a team. We got you covered. We got you covered. Even Vada has bad days.
So he did surpass one milestone that's not necessarily one to be celebrated, but worth mentioning because you don't see this number very often. Before today's game, so he struck out once today, so he now has 1,901 strikeouts in his career.
He's like, no, you can leave that one out.
That's not quite as bad as it sounds though, because that's 100 per season. Like that's a huge number, and 100 is not a small number of strikeouts, but it's not as bad as 1,900 sounds.
Man, Miggy's like, out of the one thing you're gonna talk about that, Storms. That's what.
Exactly.
Hey, everybody knows we're waiting on 500, and I've already mentioned, and I guess I will. I'll talk about it again. With the 2 walks last night, he's now at 1,190 walks, so he's just 10 away from 1,200 there.
Mm-hmm. We keep saying it every time we hear something new about Miggy, or whether we bring it up. First ballot. Ain't no reason. They know you got to get the love.
Lay that red carpet out there on Cooper's time, man. Lay that red carpet for him.
Yeah, man. Gotta be. So let's move on to the X Factor, fellas. Let's move on to what we came to talk about. I'll give it to y'all. Actually, I'll give it a tie. Ty, you start off with the division leader you want to start off with, and we'll go right behind you, man.
We can bring it around. Like, we'll start with the West Coast. Disclaimer: on these X Factors, to my surprise, none of us agreed. So we all have different X Factors, and that was a surprise in itself. So if there's a chair thrown, or there's a "how could you," or a slap to the back of the head, my picks are always the best. But that's just, got to throw that out there. But anyway.
I'm usually a happy little mix of Ty and Jorge, but it's all different this time.
True. One day we'll get Trav, in the mix on this, but he's our humble Southern charm, gracious host. He's the nice guy today, so we'll take it for once. But let's go to the NL West, and we'll go around the horn on that one, to the Central and then the East. But NL West, we have the San Francisco Giants as your division leader, unfortunately. But I I spent a lot of time on this team, so I think I picked, a great X factor for them. It's not a name that jumps out to you, but what he does and what he's going to bring to them in the postseason, if the season he's having transitions to the postseason, is going to be the key there. So with that, because pitching, and postseason success, are synonymous, we're going to go to the Giants and look at Logan Webb. So, Mr. Webb, you're having a hell of a season. Nobody expected it, just like nobody expected the Giants, to have, this great of a season. What the Giants need from you in the postseason are 7-inning games, 8-inning games, hands down. If you can get 8, great, but you're going to have to do 7. You're going to have to, go the distance in the postseason. And while he gives up a lot of hits, we have seen that the Giants, hold him down and provide him that support. The run support, of course, is always going to be there. But in the postseason, game gets a little bit, more dramatic. So if Logan can figure out how to handle, those crunches and those sticky situations when you're maybe, 1 out and you got 2 on and he's in a jam, which he's done, all season as far as getting out of, I think he can provide a lot of, postseason success for the Giants and take off pressure of the other 2 dynamic starting pitchers that they have. But when you have a pitcher in that 3rd or 4th spot in the rotation in the postseason, you matter and you are the X factor. So shout out to you, Logan. Wish you the best, unless it's against my Dodgers.
Yeah, just to go off of your point, it does matter. Remember Corbin, what he did with the Nationals and their championship run. He was amazing for them. So it definitely does matter. Storms, you want to go ahead and go next?
Some would say if you were a real Dodgers fan, you wouldn't wish them the best at all.
Especially for a rival. Like, I could get shot for that. So.
My X factor for the Giants is going to be Johnny Cueto, Alex Wood, Buster Posey, Brandon Belt, Longoria, Bryant, and even Tony Watson. All these guys. No, so what it is this veteran core of theirs and the experience that they have, not only playing deep into the playoffs
Pick
multiple
one.
times.
Pick one.
Not only playing deep into the playoffs multiple times, but also playing in and winning multiple World Series. So, and it's not only it's going to be that veteran experience and the leadership that not only in giving solid, consistent performances and being the backbone of the team that way, but also the leadership they can provide in the clubhouse and mentoring some of these younger guys and preparing them for the stretch run and getting them ready to give it what it takes to get to and win another ring.
Yeah, no, I agree. And actually, I'm going to add one person that you left off of that list because he's my X factor, Brandon Belt. Their 33-year-old first baseman, man. He's missed a lot of time with injuries, but he's only played in 66 games this year, but he's already hit 16 home runs, which is crazy. So I think he's going to be a big X factor, and he's also hitting 245, which is career average at 262. So he's like on par. He brings stability and familiarity. Excuse me, I always say that word wrong.
Get it right. Get it right. Get it right. Get it right.
Familiarity. To the first, so he brings that to the first base position, and don't forget, he's also won 2 World Series with them already in 2012 and 2014, and he's one of the trio that did it there with Posey and Crawford. So if he gets hot and if he gets it going, the Giants are already scary. That he only makes them that much deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Health is wealth for the Giants, definitely. So all those veteran bodies, make sure they're ready for this grueling postseason.
Jessica in the comments said, he only said Cueto because he's from the Reds.
I wasn't gonna say it, but
That's my sister. You know, Jessica, I also thought about a way to work DeSclafani in there, but
okay. Now I know why you didn't pick just one. You didn't want to look like a homer. That's what it was, huh? We got it, Jessica.
No, I did. I honestly, I did consider, and at first was just going to go with Cueto being the only guy on the pitching staff that has the experience of winning a World Series as a starting pitcher, because Wood was in the bullpen for the Dodgers last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, as I started putting my notes down, I started realizing that everything I was saying about him could be applied to all these other guys on the team too. So
crazy how all these older guys are having crazy years for them. Almost like, they turn back the clock.
Yep.
It's amazing. And they're all 30 plus years old, man. Every single one of them. And Crawford just got an extension, and you were talking also, Storms, that they're looking to get Posey an extension.
mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Run it back.
I said it a few months ago. This whole team thinks it's 2012.
That's crazy. What's up, Dennis? Dennis just joined us. He's saying, fellas.
Yes. I was just about to shout Dennis out. Also, shout out to all the viewers that are viewing right now live with us too. Again, keep the comments rolling. I got to look out on it. I'll put them out there if y'all put them in there. So, hey. So the next one, we're gonna go. Which one y'all want to go to? Y'all want to go to the Central or y'all want to go to the East?
Let's pass it over to Storms. Let's see what he wants to do.
Let's go with the Central and do the Brewers. So this is a team that you've heard us say a few times on this show is the most complete team in the National League. And we've also said time and time again on here that Christian Yelich and his bat continue to be the only confusing thing, the only weak link on this team.
2 seasons.
Well, yeah. Now, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but he does look like he may be starting to turn a corner a little bit. He came. I don't know what he's done tonight, but he came into today on a 6-game hitting streak. And 3 of those 6 games were multi-hit games. So, if he can get himself going and turn back into a reliable bat, and this is even more important because they refuse to move him out of the 3-hole most of the time. So, if we can put a reliable bat back in the 3-hole for the Brewers, that makes them, in my mind, the favorite to represent the National League in the World Series.
Well, I think you may have jinxed him. He's 0-3, so yeah. There goes that.
How could I jinx him if I said that now?
Because you jinxed him. That's it. He's not getting the hit for 2 games.
You wrote it earlier.
Yeah, man. This is the one that we actually agree on. I picked the same with Storms. I dug in a little deeper. You guys know, and for the viewers out there, if you guys don't know, the Brewers gave Yelich a huge payday 2 to 3 years before he was going to be a free agent because he had an option in 2022. So they extended him 9 years for $215 million. At the time, that was like a bargain because he was coming off of 2 almost MVP caliber seasons. He was hitting a batting average of 321, an on-base percentage of 415, and a slugging percentage of 631. And his WAR, his wins above average, meaning another average replacement in baseball, is 15.5. That's absurd number. That's crazy. And since his extension, not so good. He's only been hitting 216. His on base percentage is 365 and his slugging is 388. And his strikeout percentage went from 20% to nearly 30%. So,
right, bro, I'm getting major Ryan Braun vibes right now.
That's bad. That's really bad. And at the time, the Brewers were looked at. Wow, they actually kept a star. Somebody that they traded for, somebody that they signed, and they kept them in Wisconsin. And now it's like, what's going on? So I hope he turns it around for them, man, because that's my X factor as well. And if they're gonna go deep and they're gonna make some noise in the playoffs, that's who they need for sure. What do you got, Ty? We know you probably got somebody different.
Well, it's funny because I wanted to say Yelich. That was just too easy for me. So I wanted to stick with my postseason pitching.
If you're saying something, say it, bro.
I wanted to stick with my postseason pitching, prowess here. And I wanted to give a shout out to a guy who's actually had a very interesting career. And I want to see if he shifts into like what I think would be a decorated career for him based on what he's doing this season, what he did in the shortened season. That's Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns, when he first came into the majors, like he had a rough start. Was put back to the bullpen. And then in the shortened season, he blossomed and he figured it out. And this year, a career year, first-time All-Star at 26. I'm interested to see if he's going to be who I think he will be, and that's an ace. And he'll need to be that in the postseason, and that's why I'm going to say he's the X factor. Because when you're having a career year like this, when you've pitched the most innings, you've gotten the most strikeouts, your ERA is very comparable to actually what you did last year. Hopefully that just adds to your consistency. This is your time to shine and really show what you can do. He's no stranger to the postseason as the Brewers, of course, with the Brewers, he's even pitched in the NLCS. But if he can take that next step, I would love to see it just to, bring it all full circle from where he started in the majors. So definitely my X factor for the Brewers.
We talked about it, man. That three-headed monster in Milwaukee is dangerous, and just they don't, like Storm said previously, they don't even need to pitch another guy. It could be Peralta, Woodruff, and Burns, and this series is over.
Yeah, I just think Burns is going to set the tone because Peralta, like as good as he is, he can have some games where he can struggle too. But if Burns sets the tone, they'll be good.
Yeah. So I'm going to start off in the NL East because I know Trav. Let me get this smirk out of the way. Let me get that laugh out the way.
NL least.
Oh my God.
Don't worry about it. We take care of business right now. So keep it coming.
That's right now. We still got a month and a half left. Calm down. All right. We'll talk about it then. But my X factor for the Braves.
Somebody under 500 say something?
No, because we're at 500.
Because you won today.
Yes. Ian Anderson is my guy. Ian Anderson has to be the X factor for the Braves. We've talked about pitching with the Braves. Yes, they got Morton from Tampa Bay, but Ian Anderson needs to step it up and did what he did last year. He went 3-2 with them in 6 regular season starts with a 1.95 ERA. This year, he's struggling. He's 5-5 with 8 no decisions with 3.56 ERA and 18 starts, man. But he was really, really good for them last year in the playoffs. He went 2-0 with them in 4 starts and had a 0.96 ERA, under 1. So they're going to need him to keep eating innings like he's doing this year. And 18 of his starts, he's pitched 96 innings. So that means he's going to give you a quality start a game. So the only thing that's holding up his quality start is his ERA. But other than that, man, if he keeps eating innings and getting deep into the night, meaning deep into the game, we don't have to worry about Atlanta's bullpen because we know they have their holes in their bullpen. If they're able to get closer to the end of the game and give it to the closer, Will Smith or Rodriguez, it's probably lights out because they have 2 bona fide closers now. So I got Ian Anderson. If he's able to pitch well down the stretch, they're probably going to win the division, which I hope does not happen. But yes, that's my X factor.
Okay. Cat 5, man. It's on you.
I considered Ian Anderson for all those reasons. Most of all, when I looked at his game log, there are a lot of 4s and 5s in his last 7 or 8 starts. So they've been getting it done as of late, despite him.
Yes.
But my guy, my X factor is Travis d'Arnaud. The thing about the reason I picked d'Arnaud is because the Braves have been getting well below average offensive production out of the catcher spot all season long. And d'Arnaud's a guy that can come in and, just like I was saying about Yelich, if he can give you a solid, reliable bat, and we already know he's not going to be a liability on defense, so you're not losing anything there with him coming back. But he's hit safely in 3 or 4 games since coming off the injured list, and I think that's going to be the boost that they need to be able to hold on to the National League East and end up in the playoffs this year and make me right with my preseason prediction.
That's the most important part.
Yes.
No, don't make him right, please. Don't make him right.
Do we know if he's gotten a hit today?
Darnell, I'm actually looking it up right now. He does not. He's 3 at bats with 1 walk and 2 strikeouts.
He's actually at bat. He's actually at bat right now with the bases loaded.
Yes, he is. Bases loaded.
All right. Well, make me look good, Travis.
Who you got, Ty?
All right, so I think I'm going to bring it on home. I think Trav will be proud with this pick because it's one of his guys that he's been paying attention to. And if you look at the last 30 days, the impact that this guy has had for the Braves, it can't be denied. Former number 1 pick overall. Let's not forget about him. Shout out to Dansby Swanson. This one goes to you, James. So when you factor how big shortstops are in this league and how many dynamic shortstops there are, like how could you not go, with this position, right? For all the right reasons, of course, for everything that he does. And Dansby checks those boxes as well. Career year for him, a career season. So he's got, the most home runs he's ever hit, the most RBIs he's ever batted in, probably the most runs scored. And let's not forget, he's part of that dynamic defense the Braves have. He can turn a double play, has a good glove, doesn't make too many errors. So he's definitely going to be somebody that as he goes, the Braves goes. If you look at the last 30 days, which I brought up originally, he's been playing out of his mind. And that's why the Braves are at the top of the division right now. You have 8 home runs, 30 RBIs, but he's also, because he's getting on base so well, he's contributed almost a run a game at 23 runs. Stole a few bases, and he's showing up and showing out and stepping up when one of the best players in the league unfortunately was lost to injury. So him and Albies, they're going to be the key, but I think Dansby a little bit more just because everything that he offers to that Braves team.
I just love it when my team get hot at the right time, man. This is all it is right now, man. And them guys clicking though. All seriousness, those guys are clicking.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, Austin Riley has been hot.
You're a Spurs fan. I would think by this point you would be numb to that feeling. Your team getting hot at the right time.
It's just like I said on the last show, we've been screaming for this team to come up. As y'all predicted, they was one of the top 4 teams in baseball. They haven't been playing like it, and all of a sudden, it's a click.
It's still September, man. It's still a whole month left.
It's a whole month left, and they're doing it at the right time. So
Trav, I'm not trying to rain on your parade or nothing.
Don't rain on my parade.
Unless we see them back in the NLCS, you will not at any point in time for the rest of this year hear me say they're one of the top 4 teams in baseball.
So y'all, so again, y'all want me to get on here and curse like I was doing last year. So y'all want that? Okay, that's all I was saying. No, but man, let's go to the AL West.
AL West. All right.
AL West.
I'll start that one off. So this is a good segue for actually what's going to come out tomorrow. The third piece of who you got is coming out tomorrow, and the person I'm about to talk about is going to be highlighted on that because we picked 3 shortstop to put against. Ty talked about Trey Turner. Category talked about Alexander Bogarts, and my pick right here, Carlos Correa. He's my X factor for the Houston Astros. He's the 2015 Rookie of the Year, 2-time All-Star for them. He's batting .288 in the first half, .385 on-base percentage, and a slugging percentage of .510. And prior, like a couple of days to the All-Star game, he was put on the COVID list on July 9th. So he missed 10 games or so. And I think that's what's hampered his second start, why he's starting off slow, because in the second half, he's only batting .220 and .292 on base percentage and .663 slugging percentage. This is the reason why he's my X factor, because we've seen all year and we know what we're going to get from Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, and Gurriel. That lineup is just right there. I just named you 4 players that bat above Correa. And if Correa is hitting 5th or 6th, and he can bring his batting average and on-base percentage to about 250, 260, and his on-base percentage to where he was at the first half, which is 385, 400. Man, this lineup is dangerous. You know, you're talking about 6 deep in the lineup, and you don't even want to face the 6th person in the lineup. You know, what other lineup can you say that has an all-star shortstop in the 6th or 5th hole, and that's not even their best hitter? That's crazy. So that for that reason, he's my X factor, and if he picks it up, we already know we're gonna get out of the other guys. It's just he got to pull his weight a little bit more the second half. What do you got, Ty?
So I played it safe. I thought about doing Correa, but when I looked at what the Astros did before he went out due to injuries, I just couldn't deny that Alex Bregman is that X factor and that guy for that lineup. He's the juice, because you look at the Astros bats as far as, you know, last month and then this month, they've been struggling. I mean, look at just last night, they had a rookie from the Royals, you know, dominate them. So with Bregman coming back in, you know, they'll be back to form as far as where they were in June. And when you look at the numbers, I mean, and where he's at in the lineup, he bats 3rd for a reason. Now, I do know that he struggles against lefties. So he only bats 3rd when it's only against right-handed pitchers. So that is like a liability for him. Like he moves down in the lineup, you know, when a lefty comes up. But still, if you need, you know, that spark plug, that's what Bregman is. I think the Astros miss him. And watch, when he comes back, he'll remind you as far as how important he is to that potent offense that is top in the league in pretty much everything. And if you look at the most consistent one, yes, he's hovering around 275. That's consistency right there. Whereas you have some other guys like the Altuves, Gurriel, Brantley, maybe they'll, you know, kind of slide a little bit here and there. Either they're really hot or they're really not. So, but for the most part, Bregman, he's going to be that X factor for me.
Cat 5?
For me, you know, I did give Correa a little bit of consideration. I thought about Kendall Graveman and the impact that his acquisition has had, and I think will have down the stretch. But the guy that I went with, even though it's not Graveman, it's another guy that probably wouldn't be one of the first 5 names that roll off your tongue if I asked you to name off the Astros roster. But Aledmus Diaz is a guy that he went down. He went on the IL at the beginning of June and didn't come back till the end of July. So he's only played in 52 games. But this is probably their best hitter in crunch time this year. I mean, this guy, he's hitting 447 with runners on base. He's hitting 396 with runners in scoring position. And he's got 8 doubles and 26 RBI in those situations. He's also, with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, that goes up to 360, or that he hits 360 in those situations. And then when the team is down by 3 or less runs, he's got 22 RBI, 6 home runs, and 9 doubles. So this is a guy who time and time again has come up and gotten the job done in big situations. And he's a guy that, just because he's not Jose Altuve, he's not Alex Bregman, he's not Carlos Correa, he's not Gurriel. You know, he doesn't get quite the love I think that he deserves for being Mr. Big Time on that squad. You know, outside of your Altuve and the guys that always, you know, the high profile guys that also perform really well in those situations. But I think having him and his big time bat in the lineup is going to be a key thing to allowing them to dominate deep into October the way they have been all season.
My X factor for the Astros is not even a player. It's a fan. Germ, you need to come back. Your Astros ain't been doing. They ain't been what you've been since you've been left. So
I for real thought he was going
to
say
stay going. He can stay going. He can stay going.
So Germ, if you're watching this, please, you need to come on, cheer you guys on, make that run, get to the playoffs, so forth and so forth.
The A's are coming. They're coming. The A's are coming.
AL Central. Who y'all fellas got, man? We're gonna keep it with you, Cat 5.
Okay, so for the Chicago White Sox, my X factor for this team is going to be Craig Kimbrel. Now the closing situation in general with him and Hendricks, but Kimbrel in particular. You know, we all know the White Sox can hit anybody. We all know how good the rotation is. But, you know, now I've said it before, now they have the best insurance policy on the planet with those 2 guys. But one of the reasons that they went out and got Kimbrel is that Liam Hendricks is a big name. He's he was reliever of the year last year. He's got 27 saves. That looks great. But the White Sox are also bottom third or top third, however you want to look at it, in the league, and second in the AL in blown saves. They've got 21 of them this year. And that's in 51 opportunities. You go to percentage, I think that's 4th in the AL, but then the teams with a higher blown save percentage are the Orioles and the Rangers and the Mariners. So, anyway, basically, they went from sort of middle of the pack in terms of their overall closing situation to now having the strongest one, not only in the American League, but in baseball, because it's not like Liam Hendricks is incapable, so if one of these guys comes in and gives up a run or 2 in the 8th or even in the 9th, the other one's going to come in and shut the door on you. And I think adding Kimbrel to allow them to have that ability, that's why he's my X factor.
Yeah. Or Jorge, whichever one.
Yeah, I'll take it because I actually agree with him, and I'll take it a step further. It's not only Kimbrel, it's also Liam Hendricks. Like he was saying, it's a 2-headed monster now, man. It's what other team other than, we just talked about the Braves that have 2 bona fide, closers with Will Smith and Richard Rodriguez. Now Kimbrel and Liam Hendricks, even better duo. This year alone, between them, they have 50 saves. And in their careers, they have 438 saves in 23 combined MLB seasons. That's a lot of miles for closers, man, and that's some awesome experience. They also have postseason experience, both of them. And we also said this before. If you're not getting to the White Sox staff early, these two closers or these two relief pitchers, they can shorten this game 2 innings, if not 3, on any given night. Mm-hmm. So if you're getting into the 7th inning and you haven't scored or you're down by 1, it's probably going to be hard to score for these two guys. So you better get to them early and often, or good night. It's just how good they are. They can be had, just like any other pitcher, of course, but you're looking at 2 really experienced relievers, both in postseason and in the regular season. That's really all I got to add, but I agree with everything you said, Storm. Who you got, Ty?
I'm just different all night tonight. I guess just that's what it is. I'm on an island. It's a lonely island. But I'm going to go back to pitching here. And shout out to the lucky lefty. The X factor for me for the White Sox is going to be Carlos Rodon. When you look at what that rotation has done this season, has been great. No disrespect to Lance Lynn, no disrespect to Giolito, but Carlos has been that guy. Less innings of work, but more strikeouts. If you think about it, if you factor as far as his work, he's been unhittable. Batting average that batters have against him is 189. That's crazy. So if you factor who's going to get you to set up, Kimbrel and that bullpen, the best, it's going to be, Rodon here. And postseason, left-handed pitchers are handy. I mean, you got to have somebody who can, mix it up in your rotation, who can, throw a team off balance and not get them too comfortable, with how in-depth scouting can be. Of course, every batter looking at, pitcher stuff in depth too. So you don't want batters to get too comfortable. And what's the best way to throw, a curveball? Throw in the lucky lefty. So I think that'll be the X factor for postseason success for the White Sox, if they so choose. Get a lefty who can get a strikeout for you, or basically go, the distance and pretty much be unhittable. And that's what Rodon has been this season. Definitely.
Yes. I say let's keep it with you, man. You want to go ahead and start off the AL East?
Start the AL East.
Here we are for the Rays. So I feel like I hated doing this one because I feel like I duplicated myself from last season when we had X Factor talk. And I'm pretty sure I picked the same person, and I don't know why I do it. I do know why I do it, because, he matters, but it's Brandon Lau. He is the X factor, for this Rays team. And he's going to have to, assert himself like he should. And like he did this season. I mean, he's leading the team in home runs. Yes, you have, you brought in Nelson Cruz to, take some pressure off of, one guy and make your team more of a potent, consistent offense. But you're going to need timely hits. And he's that. He's not, the best hitter, but as far as timely hits go, he can either, with that one swing, get you that home run, or he's going to get you that timely double, because he's pretty good at getting, extra base hits. He usually hits at the top of the order. So you have a true wild card who can, do a huge momentum shift either at the start of the game or somewhere in the middle, depending on, how things go. Second, on the team with RBIs for a reason. So with the Rays, problem and the concerns in postseasons past, despite, last season, has been scoring. And while they do well as far as dealing with pressure in close games, I think they'll have more postseason success with Brandon's bat. And he's that X factor for a reason.
What category?
So I have Nelson Cruz as my X factor for mainly the reason that you pointed out is he's going to be able to come in and take pressure off of Lau in terms of being the big power bat in the lineup and driving in some runs. He hasn't hit very well since he came over from Minnesota, but he's been doing it too well for too long for me to believe that he's not going to get it going here at some point before the postseason. And I just think that when that happens, the Rays are going to run away with whatever's left of the season and the division. And not only that, it just gives them another guy that has postseason and World Series experience added to that clubhouse and who knows what it takes to get it done. And I just – so that's my X factor. I think him taking pressure off and coming in here and just being another thing that can add to the culture that they've established there is going to be the X factor for me.
I agree with both of y'all because they need offense, but I'm gonna go in a different route, and I'm gonna go in more of an obvious X factor for the Rays just because we know this is their strong suit, their bullpen, and I'm gonna give you reasons why. They got a pitcher by the name of Colin McHugh from the Astros last year, but he didn't pitch because of COVID. He was on the COVID list all year, so he, didn't play at all. Is he going to be your answer at starter? I mean, he was a reliever for the Stros more than anything, and from 2017 to 18, and he has 5 starts for the Rays. But as we know with the Rays, their pitches don't go more than 4 innings. He only pitched 2 innings in all 5 of those starts. So also, they have Michael Wacha, who is 2-4 in 16 games with a 4.97 ERA. That's definitely not the pitcher that was in St. Louis. So that puts even more pressure on the bullpen. And then we also have Ryan Yarbrough. He's 6-4 with a 4.76 ERA in 17 games started. And he's just coming back from the COVID IL. And he had a relief outing, I think, 2 nights ago. And he did okay, but again, this goes back to the bullpen. That's my X factor for them. And despite their starters being pretty terrible this year and be quite possibly the worst rotation that we've seen in a while, just because of the innings pitched in their ERA, their team ERA is a 3.73, and they're 9th in baseball because of their bullpen. Their bullpen ERA is 3.19. And they've striked out 546 batters, which is 2nd in the major league. So when they come in, the bullpen's looking to shut the door. And that's more than likely what they're going to do because we've seen the Rays do it year in and year out. They throw bullpen games, 2-3 innings reliever, if that, and they managed to win the games. How? I don't know. Don't ask me. That's why I'm sitting here and not a manager. But it's amazing what they do with their bullpen.
And what's the most important unit in the playoffs?
Exactly that.
Yeah.
The bullpen.
Little known fact. I think people don't realize is their manager, Kevin Cash, he was the former bullpen manager for the Cleveland Indians. So when you think of somebody who understands and whose philosophy is centered around pitching by committee, which for some managers it works, for some it doesn't. But for Kevin Cash, he's, I think, the best at pitching by committee. Can it come back to haunt him in certain games? We've seen it happen. Like in the World Series, we saw it happen. But he stands by it, and that's how he's going to go down, win or lose, pitching by committee. So, but he understands the bullpen because that was his specialty before he became a GM. A manager, was the manager of the bullpen for the Indians.
And we talked about this too last year. That's where this becomes a problem, because in this 5, 6, 7 game series, however long it goes, the more often you see one reliever, the easier it is to hit him, because you're constantly seeing the same pitch, the same arm action, and you're getting more video and you're getting more live at bats against him. And it's just easier to hit him. These guys are professionals at the dish too. No pun intended. But so they're professionals and they know what they're doing. If they keep seeing pitches, they're gonna hit them eventually.
It's tough for relievers because even if I'm correct, doesn't Liam Hendricks himself, didn't he struggle with tipping his pitches?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So,
arm angle.
Yep.
Anything else we want to add on to this, to our X factors before we move on to this next topic?
Nah, I want to see if these X factors come to fruition. Hopefully, let's see some good baseball right here down the month and a half that's left. It's going to be a wild run in a couple of divisions in the NL West, in the NL East, and also in the AL West. Let's see if Oakland can make some noise and probably, take over that division from Houston. That'll be interesting.
Stick with the tie through. Stick with the tie through.
If they do, it's going to be on Marte's back.
And if they do, Germ is not going to hear the end of it from Ty.
Oh, definitely not.
It's not going to hit it. It's not going to hit the end of it with nobody on this panel right here.
That's true.
But man, so yesterday, the Angels and the Tigers was playing this lovely game of baseball, and basically the home run hitter comes up to plate. This is Ohtani. And right on cue, your broadcaster, Mr. Jack Morris, says something in a Chinese accent. Whatever, Chinese, Japanese, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go that route. But he says it in this accent. And the Detroit Tigers, they basically suspended him indefinitely. This is the second time this year that this has happened, where commentators and broadcasters are just going out the way just to try to be funny, but yet at the same time insulting players' nationality and all this stuff, man. This has to stop at this point, man, because majority of your baseball players now, they're not from the good old US of A. They coming from everywhere and they're dominant, and you paying them big money to be dominant. So I don't know how to go by this. Ty, I'm gonna give it to you. What do you think about this, and what should be done? Because I'm tired of Stephen A. Smith act like he ain't know no better. Now you got this man here doing the same thing. What we gonna do, man?
What we got to do is realize that times have changed, and there's a shift in the culture, and it's okay to celebrate diversity. Why do we have to feel the need to make fun of it? Just because something is different doesn't mean that it's comedy. It's, what's so hard about showing respect for people? I don't need to make fun of, anybody's accent. I don't need to make fun of anybody's, food preferences, origins, wherever they come from. Like, I don't need to. So why do it in the first place?
He said food preferences.
It's all in the name, tie through, right? Man. All in the
name. I will 100% make fun of your root beer preference.
No, that's a war. Okay, that's a war. Okay, that's different. That is a root beer war. But anyway, I mean, all jokes aside, though, I mean, that's just something, respect for people, human decency. I mean, would Mr. Morris feel, how would he feel if somebody made fun of the way he talked that he couldn't control, that maybe he was self-conscious about? Or how about just showing empathy for somebody who's doesn't speak the native tongue or language but has embraced and been actually a more model citizen than probably he'll ever be. I mean, Ohtani's a great guy. He's a class act. I mean, what has Morris done that for his community or for his team? And And he's popular for a reason. It goes beyond just as far as how he plays. It's how he conducts himself on the field. So, Mr. Morris, if you want to make fun of somebody who's greater than you because they outshine you and are a better person than you, shame on you.
Cat 5, what's your response on this one?
Honestly, I think the correct precedent was set with Tom Brenneman, and I think the exact same thing should be done in this case, because a message needs to be sent that not only is this not the right thing to be doing, but it also won't be tolerated anymore. Like you said, Ty, times have changed, and things that used to be things that people can get away with, it's not like that anymore. Mm-hmm. And you need to not say those things because you can't get away with them anymore either. It's just I don't understand, like both of you guys said, the need to go out of your way to disparage somebody based on something that not only can they not control, but I mean, that's not even something to make fun of somebody over. You're making fun of somebody for the way he talks because he was born in a different part of the world. Like, that's just no place for it. So I think, like with Brenneman, the suspension should stay indefinite. And if he wants to work in broadcasting again, he can follow Brenneman to Puerto Rico.
Guru, talk about it, man.
Look, man, this thing needs to stop. I mean, look, I'm going to name you 4 faces of baseball right now. Tatis, Ohtani, Acuna, and also the GOAT. We already know who he is. We don't got to mention his name. That's 4. Out of those 4, only one of them was born here. So what? Come on, man. Like, this needs to stop. Maybe these kids, these guys, these men, they don't speak the language. Instead of you making fun of them, their accent or how they talk or whatever it is that you want to make fun of them, why don't you pull them aside and try to help them? You know what I mean? It's just they're faces of the game, and they're making your paycheck, basically. You're watching them and you're talking about them, and you're making fun of them while they're on the field, making your paycheck. Because if they weren't on the field, you wouldn't be making any money. Mm-hmm. So shame on him, and shame on anybody that wants to go ahead and do this in the future. And like Storm just said, what needs to be done is just don't let him commentate no more. Don't let him be the color commentator. You can find somebody else to do that. Hell, I'll do it. Shit, sign me up. But it needs to stop, man. It just needs to stop. It's uncalled for. Like, I don't know what goes through the head for them to say a comment like that when they're on it. They know they have millions, thousands of people watching them, and they say something stupid like that, and then they come off and they say, "What did he say right after, Trav? Or after he made the apology? I didn't know I was being."
Oh yeah. Basically, he was. Jack has been suspended. It was. Oh my God! He deeply apologized for his insensitive remarks.
So, goes to show you that it kind of didn't hit him that he said something wrong or did something wrong until afterwards. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like what?
And that's why he shouldn't be allowed back on the air.
Exactly.
Because if you're gonna say things like that, and you're not going to realize that what you're saying is offensive until after you've said it, then you have no business being in live television.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Or on television at all, in my opinion. But
really? Like, it's unnecessary.
Yes.
And like Ty also said, and I'm going to hit that a little bit, Ohtani hears this. Of course he hears this. He knows what people say about him, and he knows, that people talk about him. And I haven't heard not one clip, not one audio, not somebody say anything about Ohtani responding to any of this stuff. That just goes to tell you that he just shrugs it off. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate that he has to do that he has to shrug something like this off. But that just goes to show you the kind of person that he is. Mm-hmm. And it's horrible that he has to hear stuff like that.
Yeah, so man, we're gonna end that right there. Any final thoughts, Guru? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, Ty, let them know about your stuff that you do, after the end of the games on IG and also Twitter. You throw up. Go ahead.
So the Dish is proud to present sort of like a special shout out to the best batter called Hot at the Plate, as well as the best pitching performance of the night, Sweet on the Mound. So you can only find that on the Dish. Nowhere else is going to get you, these wonderful, wonderful highlights and shout outs in the game. So stick around, keep the scene on your screen. Make sure you're always kept aware of who was hot at the plate every night and who was also sweet on the mound.
Cat 5.
Final thoughts. This was a good show. Make sure you guys tune in on Sunday. We're going to continue the X Factor talk. We're going to go over wildcard teams and wildcard contenders. So, Jessica, if you're still watching, that's when we'll talk about the
Reds. Jessica, he's also going to try not to be too much of a homer then. So stay tuned.
No.
I said make him talk about the Dodgers. Make Storms talk about the Dodgers.
So, also, like I said in the beginning of the show, man, we do this content for you guys. Believe it or not, it takes a while to get this together. It also takes a little bit. We have a little own chat to where we make memes, make sure everything's punctual, make sure everything's good before we post it out for you guys. We have, this date in baseball history, today's date in baseball history, which we put out every day. We have the quotes. We have Storms with those quirky statements, stats, ideas. I have no idea how he remembers the stuff. Like sometimes I'm just like, what do you got? What stat you have of the day?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and I got to put one together after we get off here. But on Twitter and Instagram, every day I'm gonna do a post-trade performance where I'll bring you some of the key numbers for everybody once a day who's been traded this season and how they've performed at their new team, good or bad.
And last thing is part 3, like I said earlier, part 3 of Who You Got is going to be out tomorrow. I'm going to highlight Carlos Correa from the Stro, so look out for that. And then we're going to put the 3 together and we're going to make you guys pick as far as who out of the 3 would you guys pick. Are you going with me, Storms, and Ty? Of course, I know I'm going to win, so it doesn't even matter. So look
Bogart's in a landslide.
So look out for that, fellas. Look out for that, guys.
Man, I'm just enjoying the ride, man. That's all I'm going to say about that, man. This is the Dish coming to you from the scene. This is Ty Through. This is Guru. This is Cat 5. Hey, man, we're going to see y'all again this Sunday. We'll holler at y'all, man.